about to go down. Lateka S. Carter's on a new platform where she educating, like entertaining, empower the audience worldwide.
Lateka S. Carter Show. Lateka S. Carter Show. Lateka S. Carter Show. It's showtime. Let's go. This is the Lateka S. Carter Show. I am live tonight to bring you the conclusion of what I was able to share with you on last night as I came before you. And we were talking about preparing for the big day. So this is part 2. I am Lateka S. Carter, the CEO and executive consultant of LSC Global. I'm glad to have you on here. If you're coming back for the second time, thank you, thank you, thank you. If this is your first time coming in, catching us, let me just go ahead and give you a little bit about who I am, and then I'm going to move into the remaining of the 3, 4, 5 tips. So I know I was giving you 5 tips to help you prepare and how to prepare for that big day. So I am, again, the CEO and the founder, as well as the executive consultant of LSC Global, LLC. I've been in corporate America for over 20 years. I have my own for-profit, my own nonprofit, as well as holding company. I do have a retail experience as well. I have worked with CTOs, CFOs, CEOs, vice presidents, presidents of Fortune 500 companies, as well as I have also hired, I have also had to fire, lay off, all of that hard stuff. I've had to do those things, including implementing process, procedures, systems, where we were helping the companies to work or flow effectively, accurately, so that they can continue to make the money and service their clients and their customers. So I've helped to also help out with the accounting systems, as well as manage billion-dollar portfolios for risk management. I also hold an NMLS license in the mortgage industry, as well as I'm a licensed ordained minister. So I do believe in God, and I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him. So there may be times you're going to hear me say something pertaining to God. Just know that's me. You may have caught me also on Sunday nights at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or Friday nights, where I come on with my ministry, Lateka S. Carter Ministries, and give them the word of God. So let's dive on in here. If this helps you, if it's blessing you, please share with someone else so that they too may get some 5 major points, some tips. That doesn't mean there are not other things that they will also need to know, but I just want to help a little bit. If you know they may be struggling in the area of interviewing, they can go ahead and sign up for a free consultation with my company. I have the information listed also inside of my comments, where it lets you know how to get your one free consultation. That is 30 minutes. I give people so much more than what they ask for. I want to make sure that they are ready to step out and at least have the information that they came seeking to receive from me, as well as more. So again, I'm Lateka S. Carter. Let's go ahead and dive. I want to give you a quick recap. I'm not going to go into the details with examples like I did last night. You can always go back, check out the Twitter or the YouTube, Facebook, and look at how much I gave out on last night, which was detailed information on 5 tips. And the first one was the interview day. Practice your interview ahead of time. That means know the who, what, when, why, and where. When I say the who, know who you are. Get comfortable with delivering who you are, as well as find someone that you can talk to who may be in management or knows a little bit more about critiquing to a certain degree your presentation. So it's so important that you practice before you go to your interview, especially if this is a game changer for you. And I did share last night, sometimes we just need that, I really need a job. Like for real, the inside of us is screaming out, give me a job. Like I just want an opportunity. And we can't show that no matter how desperate we are, especially if it's a game changer for you, your family, and your money, your finances. We still have to be reserved and not be so nervous, because sometimes we'll feel like we're messing it up and we will stumble along the way. The what? Those things that I asked, what are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? This is a part of the who, what, when, why, and where. What are your weaknesses? Get comfortable with sharing your weaknesses, and do it in a way where if you haven't worked on it, at least start trying to work on something that you know maybe it was in a review period, or maybe you got fired off your last job and you really don't want to talk about your weakness. Maybe you got fired because that was a weakness. Talk about how you may be working on it, because you are aware that that was or is a weakness, or you was informed that was a weakness from your previous employment. And let them know what you're working on. You can go to YouTube, you can go to all these different places online and really start working on some of your weaknesses. Even if it comes down to what I used for an example yesterday, you not being a morning person or being an evening person. I use customer service. I'm going to stick with that because I want to just continue to keep it simplistic all the way through these part one and part two of this into 5 major steps or 5 major tips for preparing for your big day. Get to the point of being able to explain when you had a conflict on your job. Most of the time, those questions are going to come up. If you had a conflict on your previous roles or with your previous employer, it could be with customers, it could be with something dealing with the systems, or maybe you were responsible with managing the clients. It could be anything. Get comfortable with at least one and have 2 in your back pocket of a conflict where you had to resolve. And sometimes those conflicts, they will stem from your team members, your peers. They will also stem from your management. What I shared with you, I'm only backtracking so that you all can go back to yesterday's video and really listen to what I was sharing with you, and we can continue to move forward with finishing up this video. But going back to really understand the true chain of command. If you're not sure what true chain of command is, and that wasn't something you were privileged to really learn or you paid attention to on your job, I'm telling you, most of these companies, they have you watching videos, or they will do something where you will understand the chain of command, because conflicts will come up if you stay there long enough, whether you're a part of it or you're not a part of it. And they want to know how you handle conflicts, especially if it comes to your manager, and learn what that means. So go YouTube that, or go talk to, or Google it to understand what the chain of command is, and make sure you use that. Please use that, and get that in your back pocket. Also, how you resolved that particular conflict. Please don't make something up. Okay, because if you make it up, you may get into the interview where you may not remember how you were going to come up with the answer. Really take the time to think about things from your previous employment or current role, or a little bit along your journey of just working or the career, and find something major that you can talk about that, of course, makes you shine. Don't talk about something that I don't know how it was resolved. No, find something that always makes you shine, but does not go over and over the fact that you were still understanding there was a conflict, whether you were part of it, but how you had to go about handling it. Get another one in your back pocket just in case. Find something that's good, but easy and honest, because there could be something that will come up where that interviewer may ask you something based off of what you presented as an example of a conflict, and then you may find yourself in a pickle if you're really just making something up. Okay. So the next part was the who, what, when. Why should we hire you? Most of the time you're going to have that as a question that will come up. Why should we hire you, or why do you want to work for us? Make sure you do your homework, and we're going to move into that number 3 tip in just a few minutes. But know why you want to work for that company, not just because the inside of you is crying out saying, I really need a job, or this just seems like this one is it, or I gotta get away from where I work. Those people are crazy. Really understand why you want to work for that company, because sometimes it can be like a marriage. I hate to put it that way, but it is really what it is. Knowing that, especially if a company gives great benefits, maybe that's really why you want to be there. But do the research on the company, learn a little bit more about the existence of the company, the due diligence, and understand why. Give them good reasons why they should hire you. This is the time to sell yourself, to really talk good about yourself, not cocky, but good about yourself. There are more people that are looking to that have applied for that same position, especially if it's a good one. There are more people that have applied. How do you stand out? This is your one time to make the best impression. And I know you could be nervous, but that's the time that you just take your breath, inhale, exhale, and just so that you can get in front of the conversation, if you will. Just say, that's a really good question. I was hoping you were going to ask me that question. That gives you time to slow the pace of your heart, slow your breathing down, get ready to really give the answer the best way you can, even with your nerves being out there, and know why you want to work for that company. Be able to give. It's always great to be honest and true to these answers, because when you're really telling the truth, I'm not talking about those like, I don't know, I just need a job. I need you to really find the reasons why you want to work for that company, especially when you have so many places that are hiring. They are hiring. Why? Of all the 50 people that apply, just exaggerating, I know. Why should they hire you? That's what they're really looking for, to see how you're going to sell yourself, to see how you're going to stand out, because they're taking notes. And one thing I used to do when I interviewed, I would have people that I would interview. I already have information that I know I'm going to ask, but once I finish with them, I go back and I do my notes at what stood out to me the most, because if I have 15 or 20 people lined up for the same position, and I'm constantly managing departments, and I have to also interview, I'm going to forget some people. And I really want to know what stood out the most about X, Y, and Z. And then you're going to, not X, Y, and Z, about a Mr. and Mrs. Employee. I want to know, potential employee, what stood out the most about them. And I'm also going to ask questions that will make me not forget their answers if they really stood out, because if they stood out to me, they're already on my list if I'm going to have people to come back. So what would cause your interviewer to cancel all the other interviews because they understand and know I got the one I want? That's what you want, right? You want that where they already know, you know what, we're good right here. I know I got to finish, but we're good. The ones that are on there for tomorrow, just let them know, send them an email, what have you. So you really want to make the best impression. And then where within your career, this may not be something that may be asked. It really depends on how long they're giving you within the interview process. Sometimes you have 5 minutes to make a good impression. Sometimes you have 10, 15. It really depends on the type of role. It depends on the requirements, the criteria, how deep people have to go into knowing history and really gauging the interviewees. So this could be a question that could come up, and I would rather for you to be prepared, even if it doesn't come up. But where within your career did you find it to be the most rewarding? Really think about that. That doesn't mean your last job or your current role. That means within your career path or within the time that you started working. Always find good reasons and good examples where you won't forget. If you have to dive in your think tank too long, you may mess up and you may miss it, but really take a moment to think about that one that just keeps standing out at you. Write those things down so that you can continue to rehearse what happened. When you're thinking about what happened during that moment that was most rewarding for you, write down those notes, those indicators that keep coming to you, so that when you're ready to get the whole story together, you can practice an easy story to share with them. The second one that I was sharing with you all was get comfortable with your delivery. You have to get comfortable with the delivery, meaning have confidence in who you are. And that's what people can have a hard time really zeroing in on, knowing who they are. It's not about all the hats you're wearing. It's about who you are, your character. It's about your skill set. It's about those things that help you shine on jobs. Because I know you're a shining star. So let them know, because they don't know that you're a shining star. And one other thing that I want to bring to the table with this, that I know I'll be talking about another time, but I'm just going to throw this out even now, which is, this is a good nugget. And I want you to understand, it's always great, especially when you're looking for competitive roles at companies that continue to have great opportunities available, that bring letters of recommendations with you, as well as multiple copies of your resume, so that you put it in a nice folder. That way you're able to give it to whomever is interviewing you when you leave. Sometimes they don't have your resume in front of them and they're trying to go off of memory, or sometimes if they're really technologically savvy, they have their iPad or a tablet or something in front of them. They'll have your resume and they already have points of what they want to ask, things that they're going to go to that stood out to them, to ask you to give examples of certain things that you listed on your resume. It's always good to have a letter of recommendation to bring along with you, so that before you leave, as you are leaving your interview, or right before they're concluding the interview, hand them the letter of recommendation. And I'll go into that another time. I don't want to go into that tonight, because that can be a little bit more detail that I would love to share with you. So when you have to get comfortable with your delivery, being confident, that is most important. Know who you are, know what you're bringing to the table. So that's your skill sets, that's your character. If you know that you're someone, you don't need a lot of supervision, that you can get things done, you're multi-tasketed, you're very oriented, you're very dependable. Talk about those things and give quick examples. Just don't say it, but give an example. At least one. Find a good one, especially when you're using these adjectives that we constantly put on our resumes anyway. Now, handles tasks very easily, or whatever we're going to list on the resume. Make sure you have a very, very good one, because all you have is this one time to make a good impression. And you have at least a good example, a nugget that you can sum up in 15 to 30 seconds or less, okay? All right. The other thing, now we're going to go to number 3. So I shared with you all last night. Number 1, the who, what, when, why, and where. Then number 2, get comfortable with your delivery. And number 3, do homework. This is very, and I'm going to abbreviate this because of my board. Don't judge me. Do your homework on the company. That means just don't say you're looking for a job, but do the homework on where you are working. Go on Google or any search engine that you want to use. If even if it's knowing a little bit more about them in the news, go to the media section. Some will list where you have seen them in the media, seen them in the news. Get a little bit acclimated with some of their star features that they felt compelled to share on their website. That lets them know that you're not just looking for a job, especially when you put in your objective, the reason why you wanted the job in the first place, that you put down that you knew you needed a job, but you wanted it with this company in this particular role or this field in this industry. As well as it's always good, look at their competitors. So for example, we use customer service. I'm going to use a restaurant as an, well, I'll stay in customer service, but I'm going to use grocery stores, for example, because when we have clerks that are checking us out, customer service is a biggie. And I know we have the mask on, but I can see when your cheeks rise up because you're happy to see me. Don't judge me. I'm just saying, because I could have had a bad day too, and your smile, your cheekbones going up, and you saying, "Hey, how you doing?" You just don't know what that could do. As well as us being the consumers, the customers, to say, "Hey, how are you?" We don't know what we're doing for them. So, nonetheless, using that as an example, customer service. There are so many different grocery stores, especially the major ones that are in competition. Using, for example, Walmart has a grocery store, Target has a grocery store, then you have Kroger's, you have Food Line, you have all these different competitive grocery stores. Think about how many grocery stores are within a 10 to 20-mile radius of where you really want to work that you could possibly get hired at. We're talking about just customer service as an example. Look to see what their competitors are doing as opposed to what that company is doing, and really weigh out the odds and say, would I rather work for Walmart or would I rather work for Target, or some people say Target? Which one? And really look to see the difference and do the homework, because you could be married to this thing for, I don't know, 6 months, a year, or even trying to work your way up, especially if you want to make a career out of it. You have so many people that just start as a cashier and they work their way up. If this is someone like you, like I'm getting in on a data entry level, I'm getting in on a or entry level, I know I want to work my way up, even if it's a temporary work your way up. You don't want to be at the bottom no any longer than you have to. So it's always good to do your homework on that particular company, and even on those particular in that industry. And when I say the industry, I'm talking about when we say grocery stores, that's a chain. Like grocery store chains, that's an industry. When I say department stores, clothing department stores, that's an industry. When I say mortgages, that's an industry. So lending, an industry, medical, an industry, especially if you want to be a CNA, you're an LPN, you want to eventually get to RN. Do your homework and bring that to the table in your interview. Bring up something major that you have seen. And I shared with you all yesterday about sometimes you're going to see the negative reviews, a lot of them, because people have their own opinions and they have their own experiences. And some people don't mind expressing and exaggerating those negative experiences. That's why it's important that you just don't read the negative reviews, but you also read the positive reviews. You also do your homework on the company that you're looking to go work for and bring it to the table. I used for an example yesterday about a negative review. And what I used with the negative review was when you're in your interview, you could say something to the effect of, I understand, especially when it comes, why do you want to work for us? And you could say, I reviewed the information online where you had about us. I also went online and I Googled you all, or whatever search engine you want to use. I read the majority of the reviews, or you can say all, or spent a lot of time reviewing, because I want to get to know who I'm working for. What company am I working for? I think that's going to intrigue that interviewer when you have their ear, because you took the time to do homework, just like they had to take the time to do homework before, or they should have took the time to do homework before they came into the interview with you anyway. So you let them know, I've seen the reviews, all of the reviews, and there was some negative things that were said, but it was just so many things that just kept outshining the negative reviews. And you can bring up at least one good one. And you can even, for example, if they made a comment on the bad review and they spent it in a way that they really showed they're so sorry about what the customer had to go through, what they experienced, and this is what we're going to do, I would spin that thing to let them know, I understand that it's people have experiences. Some people are willing to share their worst experience more than they are their best experience. And I like how you came across, or your company came across, and they said X, Y, and Z under a particular bad review. Do your homework. Make it look like you're not just trying to have a job, even as what you really want. Let them know that you really want to work for them and you care about the role that you are about to take. The number 4 is understand the responsibility. So I'm just going to put here, understand. Oh, my handwriting is horrible on this board. So let's just erase that, because that doesn't even look good at all. So you all get that. I'm going to stay off my board here, but understand the responsibilities and duties of the position that you are looking to have. So thank you so much for watching. Hello, Reverend Dr. Bishop Marilyn Ford. It's good to see you. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening, Auntie Karen. God bless you all. So number 4 is understand the responsibilities and the duties. So that means when you're looking to go into your interview, preparing is go into your interview where you understand the roles, even if all you needed was an opportunity or a job. Because don't let anything kind of catch you off guard, especially if you didn't have all of the requirements that they're looking for. This is not the time to be jumping ship anyway, because you feel like it's a promotion or you just need a change. Know what you're getting into. Just like we were talking about marriages, sometimes you end up signing up for a job. Next thing you know, 5 years went by and you're still there. And maybe you're disgruntled a little bit because you're still there and you're tired of being there and you want to get out. You feel like you're stuck. So just don't jump ship just because you want a promotion or you want to move into a different field or you're a different company. Understand why you're looking for a job beyond the money, because we all know we all need money, but understand why you're looking for that particular role and look at the responsibilities that they have listed on the web, the search engine for the different jobs searches that you're looking at, and see the different responsibilities. Look at what you're able to bring to the table. Look at those responsibilities and see, are you willing to do what is listed on what they have listed on those job sites, to see, am I willing to do that? If it says work weekends, and we're just using that for an example, if it says work weekends, are you willing to work every single weekend? And if you know you're not willing to work every single weekend, then more than likely that's going to be an issue for you. Wouldn't you think so? So especially if it says typing, you have to have certain typing speeds and certain typing skills. Do you even know how to type good? I mean, all of these things, I'm just using simple stuff, but I think you could get the gist. It's for you to know what are you comfortable in doing when it comes to the responsibilities that role is asking. And please trust and believe when I say this. That is the minimum, because more than likely they're going to have you doing more. So you have to be comfortable with doing the minimum of what they have listed, especially if you don't feel that you have all of the skill sets that they are looking for. Also, look at the duties that they have listed on there and make sure that this is something that you really, really, really feel comfortable signing up with. Why do I say that? One, because there are so many jobs out here right now. People are truly hiring. And if you are someone who wants to have a job working from home, maybe that job says occasional tele a job that's a tele job where you're able to work at home or remote. Then I would also ask, that is this a job where you're constantly remote, or do you have to come into the office occasionally, especially if you're not comfortable coming into the office? You need to know those things ahead of time. It's always good to have your questions as well, because more than likely the interviewer is going to ask you, do you have any questions? Have good questions that you really need to know the answer to. I had an interview with someone that I'm thinking I got the interview down packed because I've done this so many times, but she brought so many questions to the table. I knew, yep, I want you, because she was asking all the right questions, especially when it came to the company, it came to the role, it came to the expectations. For me, here's one thing that I love to use personally, and I love to use this because it is true to me. I'm not saying to you, but I'm just throwing a pointer out to you. I ask those questions such as, I understand that you have the roles, the responsibilities, duties, what have you, out there online, or I'm able to see it, however you want to word that part. You as the manager, is how would I put this? You as the manager, what would you say your true expectations are of that role? Because there are some things that are really generic when it comes to certain roles, but the manager or the supervisor who has to lead that department, they have certain expectations as well. So that is always a good question to ask in whichever way you feel comfortable wording it, but asking them, what are your expectations of this role? So that you would at least know. It can also help you to see what kind of manager you about to get your hands tangled up with, because you have some manager, I need you to be on time, not a minute late. I mean, you already know that, but my God, at least you know what you're working with. Ask those questions, especially if you know sometimes you're a little slow or procrastinating, getting up, getting dressed, have to take the kids to the school, drop them off, or have to make certain runs before you go to work. Get comfortable with making sure you are able to ask those important questions that could be one of those deal breakers for you, because not every company and not every role that you see is going to be a good fit for you, and you don't know until you find out. What was I thinking? That part. All right, the other thing, the last five step here that I want to give you, the 5 tips, is dress appropriately for the interview. That is such a biggie. I do not care if the job is at a car wash or is a job at a grocery store, or it's a job in the medical field. Dress like you know where you're headed. all you have is the first impression. That means I know we live in a time and an era where people are saying, it's okay to be you, be unique, be bold, be daring. You may be comfortable wearing blue hair, may be comfortable wearing green hair. And I'm not knocking any of that. But what I am saying is when you go into the interview, the interviewer is looking at every part of you from the hair down. And I'm not saying they're judging you, but you have to go like, oh, I want this job. Even if that job says you can wear shorts when you get hired, at least show up dressed. And if you can, try not to wear flashy clothes. Try not to wear flashy colors. Try to dress more as an average. I would say stick to your solid colors, like your black. If you wear prints, then don't have, like, for example, I got on a printed shirt. I wouldn't have printed shirt and printed pants. I'm just, man, you can, don't get me wrong, because they got really nice clothes out there. There's a one piece. I get it. I'm not saying that that's not going to look good, but you're trying to make a good impression. So think about, especially if you're a woman, what the makeup. Think about, even when it comes, you see how I got my nails and everything. We're talking about that big day, and my daughter did this. I don't like this. But what I'm saying is, it really, really, really matters how you dress when you show up for your interviews. Show up like you know where you're going, like the success ladder you want to climb, even if it's a temporary job. Try to have your hair looking nice and decent. Try to keep your makeup where it's suitable. It's not bold, and I'm going to bring somebody on one day soon where I'm going to allow them to come and share with you the appropriate way to dress, even when it comes to the makeup, the best colors choices, even when it comes to hair, the best appropriate look, especially when it's in corporate America, because you don't want to kill the interview before you had a chance to really open up your mouth. I'm just saying, I'm not saying that you're someone who don't know how. I'm just letting you know some of the good indicators. I understand is be bold, be daring, be different, but still be presentable, still look intelligent, still look like you coming in there, you own that place, right? So I wanted to share with you. I'm not going to have you on here long because I'll be coming back again and sharing some other important information and whatever that next topic is going to be. But I want to let you know how to prepare for your big day, and that is your big interview day, and how to prepare. Give you examples. So not just share with you the 5 major tips, but also examples on how to prepare for it. I hope you have enjoyed the show for tonight. Concluding, preparing for the big day. I am Lateka S. Carter. Again, if you want to get a free consultation, you can get at least one free consultation from me. If you want to have help preparing for your big day, you can go ahead and text the word prepare to 404-667-0567. Or you can go to my website. That's lscglobal.com. That's lscgloballlc.com/consulting. And you can sign up to get your free consultation. If you have a business, you have business questions. I've been helping people, showing them how to make money, showing them how to manage their time, just giving them all kinds of good tips, good pointers to help them, because I truly want to be a blessing to people. I have over 20 years from coming from the industry where I worked my butt off sewing. Oh God, sewing and tagging in price tags and having to work in retail stores until I landed my first job in banking, which has now allowed me to work over 20 years in corporate America in lending and in finances. So I've also worked in bankruptcy. I've also, oh my God, that's just too much to name. So, and it's not well, I worked for a lot of companies. I've worked my way up. I was the one of the ones that people would look at you like, put your hand down. But listen, this ain't where I want to be. I want to go other places. Okay. So if you are one of the ones that you know there is so much more for you in life, and you know that you're tired of where you are and you can't see another year or another 5 years doing what you're doing, and you just need some guidance or some help, come talk to me, because I also have a coaching program where I will help you along the way, help you get acclimated and ready to complete the goals, which are your plan of actions in my coaching program, to get that where you're happy with life, where you have your time, your money is strong, you wake up winning every day. That's what's important, that you are happy. What's important is that your money is right. You're taking care of your family. You're taking care of your responsibilities. You're no longer living paycheck to paycheck, because you can just go from job to job and still be unhappy. And I have seen too many people chase a job looking for happiness, when happiness is truly fleeting. It is a temporary situation. What is important is that you get your life where you know you need it to be, so that you're continuously having joy on the inside, and you're honestly wake up winning every day. You wake up with a winning mentality, because you have peace. Even if you're a single parent, a single mother, you learn how to balance your time where your children are not hurting, and you have learned not to pencil yourself in, but to take yourself out and do things for you. And if you want a vacation, your money is not crazy where you can't take you and your children out on a nice vacation. I want to help you get to that place. And sometimes it just takes getting to the first step, making the first step up. So you can go to my website, LSC Global, LLC.com. Look for the coaching tab and sign up to get your free assessment, where we can make sure this is a good fit for you, this is a good fit for me. And if you want to just use that as a consultation, that's fine. It only costs $125 to get started. Look how low that is compared to what it can do to set your life up. I look forward to having a conversation with you. And if you want to know more information, just reach out to me. I would love to just have an opportunity to speak with you, rather than you just say no to this. I had to start somewhere, and I'm telling you, my life has transitioned into ascending levels ever since I got this together, my mind together. Ever since I made the decision, it is time for me to live my life. It is time for change. And when I did that, my life just kept going up, 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 and up. And I'm just an example to show you where you can go and even supersede that. So it's all about you, what you're willing to do. I'm willing to assist you. I would love to be your coach, so that I can see your life going to ascending levels as well. I hope you have had a wonderful evening with me tonight. And I look forward to speaking with you again when I'm able to come back next week to have another Lateka S. Carter show. Until then, I hope you and your family have a wonderful week. Peace and blessings.